Dear parents, we are going to explain Smartschool to you. This is a digital platform used at our school, and it is very important for communication. First of all, you will find your profile at the top. If you click on it, you can change the language settings. So these are the languages in which you can set Smartschool. Furthermore, you can also set up notifications. So if you prefer not to receive messages on Saturdays and Sundays, you can simply uncheck this option. You can also select the way you receive messages. For example, you can do that here. If, for instance, you prefer not to receive messages in your app, you can uncheck that option. If you say news updates are not necessary for you, then you can uncheck that as well. What can you receive notifications about messages? Student tracking system news updates, planner, and results. I'm going back to the start for a moment. Through GoTo, we arrive at the planner. The planner is a very important tool to know everything that's happening at our school. Each day has 7 class periods, and for each period, the teachers fill in what they will be doing during that lesson. For example, I click on history here. And what do you see? This is about August, and sometimes teachers provide extra information for the student. And of course, the objectives are also listed so students know in advance what the lesson will be about. On the right-hand side, you will find all assignments and tests. You can set this yourself, or the student can set it themselves as well. So you can choose to show everything, or you can choose not to show the completed assignments. And as you can see, this is a diligent student because they've already completed everything. I'm now going to show a few assignments. For example, I'm thinking of a math test here. Then you can clearly see what the students need to study and where they can find the exercises for this. Students can also add their own to-dos in this agenda so that they have a complete overview of everything they need to do that week, both for school and in their private life. Students can also schedule their own appointments in our Smartschool agenda, for example. I click on this, and then you can add your own to-do. What else is included in Smartschool? Those are our subjects. Each subject a student takes has its own Smartschool course. For example, I'll go to the math subject here. There you will find, under documents, you will find additional information for the math course. You can find a number of solutions, extra teaching materials, and so on. What else can you find there? The assignments. Importantly, the overview of the material for the exams. Students are sometimes also tested digitally, and those exercises, those digital tests, can be found here. For the students themselves, they can access digital platforms via links. Since this is a parent account, I can't show a digital platform here. What else is important for our parents? That is our messaging system. Through the messaging system, you will receive all communication. For example, here we have a letter about an incorrect designation or a webinar about parenting. The letters that have been sent can always be found again on Intradesk. So now I will go to Intradesk for a moment. If you click on the folder Students and Parents there, you will find all the letters to students and parents there. What else can you do via messages? Of course, you can also send a message yourself. For example, I am now sending a message to Mrs. Peters as a student coach for the first grade. There you go, her name appears automatically. If you have any questions, you can ask them there by typing in the name of the student, coach, or teacher. On EDU, we also use a student tracking system. I will now click on the student tracking system for a moment. What can you find there? First and foremost, our good model. So our good model, this is to encourage the students, but sometimes also to point out negative behavior. So we can enter positive notes there, but we can also enter notes about disruptive behavior. Please make sure to follow up on this good model carefully and speak to your son or daughter if there are any notes in this good model. You can also see remediation here when there are deficiencies. Is it possible that we initiate remediation? Both parents and students can find this remediation in the remediation folder. There is also a folder for student contacts. This folder is used when we have student contacts, and sometimes questionnaires are also placed there. In our student monitoring system, you will also find an overview of all absences and all instances of being late. So you can personally keep track of when your son or daughter is late. What else can we find in Smartschool? What might be important for you? That would be the results, of course. You can find tests, so all the tests are available, but you can also find all the report cards. So if you say, all right, how did the Christmas report go again? You can do that via Reports Current School Year. What else is important for parents? That would be the parent-teacher meeting. Here you see the parent module. Through here, you can make an appointment with your teacher when the parent-teacher meeting takes place. With this, I think I have explained all the important aspects of Smartschool that we use at our school. If there are things that are not clear to you, you can always click on the question mark here, and there you will always find the manual. I hope that you can now get started with this explanation.